Dante's Boxing Nation over here with the man Floyd Mayweather.
DBN Nation, of course. Support DBN Nation. You're hearing it from Floyd Money Mayweather. What's going on?
This is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation, baby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dante's Boxing Nation. This is AK. Go ahead and visit ashkickit.com, and while you at it, subscribe below, and let's get straight to it. So the negotiations between Team Wilder and Team Anthony Joshua are still ongoing. It's been several months now, and they still haven't come to an agreement yet. They got to come to an agreement by the end of this week, according to reports, or both fighters are moving on. Now, according to Wilder, he said he gave Anthony Joshua everything he asked for, and Anthony Joshua still won't take the fight. Anthony Joshua said he wants to fight in the UK. He said he will go to the UK and fight Anthony Joshua. It just has to be a fair offer. Anthony Joshua also came out saying, hey, if this is such a big fight and such money that you won't take my 12.5% that I offered you, give me $50 million up front and I will take the fight tomorrow. Wilder also gave him what he asked for. However, Anthony Joshua asked for proof of funding after that, which Wilder said that he also provided the proof of funding. Now, the holdup is Anthony Joshua saying that he wants to fight in the UK. It has to be in the UK because he appreciates his fans and so and so. Wilder said, okay, I'll go to the UK. Just give me a fair offer. You can't offer somebody who's not as big of a name as me, like Joseph Parker. You can't offer Joseph Parker more money than me or offer him a biggest percentage because he got 34% or 35% and Wilder got 12%. So it's like that don't even make sense when I'm the bigger name. Wilder been champion longer than Joseph Parker been champion, longer than Anthony Joshua been champion. So Wilder just want a fair offer. He don't want to get low blowed. And if they want the fight in the UK, they have to present the money. If they come to the States, then Wilder will present the money. Or Team Wilder, Al Heyman. Now, Anthony Joshua can't ask for a $50 million guarantee up front and a 50-50% split on the pay-per-view and fight in the UK because the money is not in the UK. Showtime said money don't grow on trees. So Anthony Joshua can't be asking for all that money. If he wants all that money, because he said he's going to make $1 billion in the sport of boxing, or that's his goal, right? We'll follow the footsteps of the man who made $1 billion in the sport of boxing, which is Floyd Money Mayweather. Fight in Vegas, where the money is. Because Anthony Joshua has to take a $20 million pay cut if he want to fight in the UK. He has to fight in the US if he want to make that $50 million guaranteed. If not, he will make $20 million less. So why would you do that to fight in the UK? Is it for an advantage? Is it really for the fans? Because Wilder's saying why you want to fight so bad in the UK and still want that same amount of money. You know, at the end of the day, is you got something to hide as far as testing or as far as judges or as far as referees. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, nobody can fight for you but yourself. And Wilder goes for the knockout anyway. So as far as the judges, it don't matter. As far as the referee, it do matter, but Wilder's not really an inside fighter. He fights at range anyways. Now, as far as the testing goes, who knows? As long as, we all know if you fighting Wilder, it's VADA testing. I don't know what Anthony Joshua been getting tested in the UK, but I'm pretty sure that Joseph Parker was VADA testing, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not 100% on that. But as far as anything else, if you fight Wilder, you will get VADA tested. So Is it that you don't want to come to the U.S. for that? That's what Wilder has these questions for Anthony Joshua. What's the reason you want the fight so bad in the UK that you're willing to take less money to fight in the UK? But again, they haven't made Wilder the offer he wanted to go to the UK. They still lowballing him. And if we go on a time loop or a timeline, I mean, this could be a movie, to be honest with you, for Wilder himself, because Wilder is portrayed as this bad man that, you know what I'm saying, because he has this bad boy image. However, he's really not. You know, he started boxing when he was 21 years old, late, still became champion. Now he's about to unify. He had to do it because he had a daughter, so he had to provide for his daughter, etc., etc. So, you know, if we break this down, let's break it down so it'd be no doubt who's avoiding the fight. Because if Anthony Joshua do not take this fight and avoids Wilder for the money or whatever reason, because we all know Wilder wants to fight. All he just wants a fair deal, that's all. Matter of fact, he's willing to take a low blow, as long as you take the low blow in the rematch, according to Wilder. He said if you take $12 million in a rematch, I'll take the $12 million that you offered me, or the 12%. So at the end of the day, we all know Wilder wants to fight. However, Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, saying, I'm not selling my belts. I'm not going to sell my belts and come to the States and fight Wilder in his home turf. But my question to that is, if you ask for $50 million, if you ask for that kind of money and that you're going to get, that you're going to secure your family with, why is it selling your belt? You about to go knock somebody out. Anthony Joshua said he will knock Wilder out. He can't wait to lay hands on Wilder, right? He's going to knock him out, etc., etc. So how are you selling your belts? If I'm giving you $50 million to come knock me out, how are you selling your belts? Wilder's offering $50 million for him to come fight him. He ain't selling his belt. He making money off them belts. He making history, legacy off them belts. He about to go knock Wilder out for that kind of money. How are you selling your belts? The only way you could be selling your belts is if you about to get knocked out. And you taking so much money, you're like, you know what? They offered me $100 million. I'll take the $100 million. I know I ain't going to win the fight, but I'm getting all that money. Yes, I'm selling my belts. That's what Anthony Joshua sounded like. He sounded like he knew he was about to get knocked out by Wilder if he takes the fight. I don't get what Anthony Joshua means when he says, I'm not selling my belts. When you asked for this, you asked for that kind of money, and you getting it. So how are you selling your belts is my big question. So it's looking bad for Anthony Joshua, and I will say this. If Anthony Joshua do not take the fight, it'd be the biggest duck in, not in boxing history, but in the heavyweight division, at least in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, name me a fighter who turned down that kind of money for a unification for all 4 belts. It's just never happened before. The last time I could recall somebody turning down that kind of money, $50 million guaranteed with a 50-50 split, is Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was the last person who turned down that kind of money. And I know a lot of people like to blame the fight not happening between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on Floyd Mayweather all the time. Like, oh, it's Floyd Mayweather's fault this fight didn't happen in his prime. He didn't want to fight Pacquiao in his prime. When we all know Manny Pacquiao turned down a 50-50 split over a drug test, over a needle. Why would you turn down that kind of money over a needle? And you got tattoos. Unless you had something to hide, that's what Wilder implying in this case. He's like, why you don't want to take this fight? Is it really the fight, or is it something about what I'm requiring you to do, which is take VADA testing, etc., etc.? So Manny Pacquiao at the time I said Deontay Wilder. Dante Boxing Nation, he has an interview with Freddie Roach where Freddie admitted that it was their fault, or Pacquiao fault, that the first time the fight didn't happen, it was their fault. It's on an interview. I'll put it in the description box so we don't even have an argument about that. The second time they blamed it, on Pacquiao and Bob Arum, 80% on Bob Arum, blah, blah, blah. The third time it happened, of course. But first time, Manny Pacquiao turned down that kind of offer. He was the last person that turned down that offer over a drug test. It was I'm not sure if it was 50 million up front, but I know for sure it was 50-50 split when it comes to everything. Even though Floyd Mayweather at the time was the biggest star, he was coming out of retirement, blah blah blah. So Floyd Mayweather offered him a 50-50 split, no problem. Pacquiao turned it down. Now, Pacquiao could have easily made up to 75 million if that fight happened at the time, just off pay-per-view, let alone the upfront money, which we don't even have a clue what that was. But the last person that turned down that kind of offer was Manny Pacquiao. So does Anthony Joshua want to go down in that lane? Because we remember what happened when Manny Pacquiao decided to go on his own lane and Floyd Mayweather decided to go on his own lane after he turned down the fight with Floyd Mayweather the second time for $40 million guaranteed. Manny Pacquiao fought Timothy Bradley for way less money. Ended up losing to Timothy Bradley. Now, Floyd Mayweather's like, damn, I can't even fight this dude no more and make that money that I want to. He got to get his victory on Timothy Bradley in the rematch. Then he fights Marquez. Then Marquez knocks him out. So, do Anthony Joshua want to go his own lane and Wilder go on his own lane, and then, the fight could get ruined by either Tyson Fury, anybody. We don't know. Like, is this the heavyweight division? Anybody could get knocked out with one punch. So do you want that to happen and you miss out on that kind of money that Tyson and Holyfield missed out on the first time? So Anthony Joshua really has to play this smart, because at the end of the day, you can't say, I ain't coming to the States to fight Wilder for, I don't want to sell my belts. But then you request to fight Baby Miller in Brooklyn. Why would you come to the U.S. to fight Baby Miller, who's a less star, and you're not going to make history nor that kind of money that you will make fighting Wilder? And why would you fight Povetkin, your number one mandatory, who want to fight you in Russia? They offered Anthony Joshua an offer saying that they want to fight in Russia and they got so much money. And we all know they beat... Wilder was going to go to Russia to fight Povetkin. When Povetkin was Wilder number one mandatory, everybody saying Wilder was ducking him. Wilder was like, okay, I'll fight him next. And he went to fight him in his hometown, in his own country. And Povetkin ended up testing positive instead for PEDs. And ended up testing positive again for PEDs when he was about to fight Stavern. Wilder also fought somebody else who tested positive. And then Ortiz, the last person who tested positive, but that was for medical reasons. But he had a window where he didn't have to fight Ortiz. Matter of fact, let's go through the timeline, how all this unfolded, like I said. Because back in the day, I used to think Anthony Joshua is going to beat Wilder, to be honest with you. After I seen them compete at the highest level, now I changed my opinion. I think Wilder going to win because of certain things. Wilder do have the eraser, but that's just my opinion. Nothing more. You could feel otherwise. Dante could feel otherwise. Everybody could feel otherwise, but my opinion changed. And now I'm 100% Team Wilder because of what I'm seeing. You see all this confidence that Wilder has, and you see zero confidence by Anthony Joshua. because Wilder beat the most skillful guy in the division. He already did that, which is Ortiz. Now, on the other hand, Anthony Joshua, you know, he beat Joseph Parker. He beat Klitschko, who was 41, coming off a huge layoff. He looked good in that fight. However, you know, he was still old. But at the end of the day, Wilder eraser, which is his right hand, his confidence, his charisma, his awkwardness, all it takes is one shot. And the difference between Wilder and Klitschko is that Wilder has that killer instinct. If he hurts you once, he's gonna go for that knockout. He's gonna go for the kill. But like I said, let's go through the timeline, because everything I said is fact. It's not an opinion. You could say I'm biased, I'm hating, you could call me all type of names, but one thing you can't say is that I'm not telling the truth. And since I'm telling the truth, nothing you say really matters, because I'm speaking facts. I'm putting my feelings on the sides. I'm just using my brain and stating facts. Nothing is just opinion. I'm putting shit together. That's basically what I'm doing. Now let's go through the timeline to prove once and for all that if Anthony Joshua does not take this fight, it's going to hurt his career and it's going to be the biggest duck in heavyweight division. Now let's get to it. So Wilder won his belt, defended it. He won it to fight Klitschko to unify the division. Klitschko said, oh, you got to prove yourself first. So basically, Klitschko turned down the fight, which is basically he ducked Wilder. Now, he also wanted Tyson Fury. That fight didn't happen. He wanted Joshua fight early. That fight was too early. That didn't happen. He wanted the Povetkin fight. He tested for PEDs. That fight didn't happen. So Wilder been wanting to fight the best. From the get-go, he wanted to put that stamp on his legacy and become a great, right? So he's doing everything he's supposed to. He knocking cats out left and right, putting them in a coma. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, he fights Martin Murray, and he wasn't tested at all. He knocked him out, won the belt. That's why Wilder keeps saying Anthony Joshua is not a real champion. He a made champion because he won a belt versus somebody who really wasn't a nobody. Because a lot of people keep saying, oh, Wilder, he's got 40 fights and he ain't fought nobody. He wants to fight everybody. That's the thing. It ain't his fault fighters keep testing positive for PEDs or ducking them. That's not his fault. You see how bad he wants this fight. It ain't his fault that Anthony Joshua doesn't want it. It ain't his fault that Anthony Joshua came out and said that, hey, this fight won't happen till probably 2019, 2020 because I'm not ready. Anthony Joshua said that, not Wilder. So after that, Wilder, Hearns kept criticizing Wilder, saying, oh, he ain't fought nobody. He need to improve his resume. Look at Anthony Joshua. He's only 22 fights or whatever. And look who he's fighting, blah, blah, blah. So Wilder was like, you know what? I'm going to fight the best guy in the division. That's where Ortiz came to, the boogeyman. That's when he came to the table. Now, Ortiz, at the time, was the #1 mandatory for Anthony Joshua. I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the IBF belt. Now, Ortiz was supposed to fight Joshua. So what happened, Hearns was like, you know what? What if this guy beats my guy? I better sign him. So he signed him. He fought 2 times under Hearns, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And after his second time, he the champion. And then you let him go off the contract. That don't even make sense. But it do make sense because we know he don't want to risk losing his moneymaker, which is Anthony Joshua. Now, Wilder did them a favor. He took Ortiz off the picture because Ortiz had a horrible style for Anthony Joshua. It would have gave Anthony Joshua a lot of problems. Wilder took that fight from Anthony Joshua. He said, I'll fight him. Since y'all don't want to fight him and y'all saying I ain't fighting nobody, I'm going to fight the best guy in the division. Wilder didn't have to do that. It was a risky fight. It was low. It wasn't really low reward because everybody after that respected Wilder. He fought Ortiz in a one hell of a fight, action-packed fight, historical fight. Matter of fact, he knocked him out after getting hurt himself, showing his championship heart, just like Anthony Joshua did with Klitschko. On top of that, Wilder, the first time they was about to fight, Ortiz tested positive for medical reasons, right? Wilder could easily said, oh, see, I tried to fight the boogeyman of the division that Anthony Joshua didn't want to fight, that nobody wanted to fight. But he tested positive. He's scared of me, blah, blah, blah. But no, to show you that he was real, to show you that he was about that life, he still took the fight and did what he said and knocked the man out. So that was history made right there, right? On the other hand, Anthony Joshua, after he beat Klitschko, he was about to fight Joseph Parker. You know, it was like 2 weeks after the fight with Ortiz versus Wilder, I think. Not too sure. It's like a 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. So Sky Sports offered Wilder to come do commentary for the fight for Anthony Joshua versus Parker. Wilder said, you know what, I'll come like I always do, you know, but under one condition. Because the last time I came, they didn't even acknowledge me. Like that, like I wasn't there. But now, if y'all want me to come, all I'm asking is for one thing. I want to get into the ring after the fight to face off with the winner. That's everything that Wilder requested. They said, fine, that's cool. We're going to tell Anthony Joshua. As soon as they told Anthony Joshua, he said, hell no. You ain't coming to invade my fight and steal the hype. I don't want no hype. If we fight, we fight. Send me a contract. Right? So Wilder was like, you know what? If I ain't coming, if they're not going to let me in the ring, I ain't coming. Because, you know, they're going to put security guards and all this. He's like, nah, I ain't coming then. That made Anthony Joshua look bad because they asked Anthony Joshua all through that week about that. Then Anthony Joshua was like, oh, it's fine. He could come. He changed his mind. It's like after Wilder cancels his ticket, now you change your mind, you know, just to save face. Because that's probably what Hearns told him to say. Now, I know you thinking, man, this shit can't get worse for Anthony Joshua. No, it does. Anthony Joshua does a face-off on Sky Sport with Joseph Parker. It's called The Gloves Are Off or something like that. So they doing the face-off. Then Anthony Joshua states a false statement that people started calling him out for, saying, hey, why are you going to say that huge lie? Because he said that Wilder could be sitting on the other side of me, something like this. I'm not quoting him because I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to what I'm about to say. He said that Wilder could be sitting right in front of me on that chair right there if he took the same offer that we offered Joseph Parker. Now, last time I checked, they never offered Wilder 34% to come to the UK when they was negotiating with Parker. Because Wilder would have took the fight in a heartbeat. That's one thing. Second of all, they admitted they never offered, or the negotiation never started, or it wasn't ongoing at the time. So when did you make that offer, Anthony Joshua? And why don't you make it now when it's more relevant, when the fight is bigger? But like I said, which that statement was a false statement. I don't know why he said that. I don't know if Hearns at the time lied to him, but it made him look bad. Now, he beat Joseph Parker. After the fight, he said he will knock Wilder out. Then offers Wilder 12%. Now, like I said, we could have had free hype if Wilder would have went to the UK and went to the ring, and well, they would have did that face off. But Anthony Joshua stopped it from happening, saying, "Oh, he don't want no hype till the fight gets signed." Blah blah blah, and this and that. So now you offer Wilder, the biggest star, 12%. Or 12.5. Let's not forget the huge 0.5%. 12.5%. That's what they offer Wilder. Wilder's like, okay, you know what? Even though you offered somebody who's not even a big name like more money than me, Joseph Parker, I still take this fight for 12.5%. However, you have to take the same percentage in the rematch. And he was saying that before they even made the offer, just to show you that he a man of his word. They said that. Wilder said that even before Anthony Joshua offered him that. He was saying, hey, like, if they lowball me, I'll take it, as long as they take the same thing in return. If they offer me 30%, you know what? As long as he take it in return, in a rematch, I'll take it. But Anthony Joshua responded to that saying, oh, I think he contradicted himself. On one interview with Ibrahim, he said, I do it, of course, because I'm going to knock him out in the first fight, which makes sense. And then in another interview, he said, no, I wouldn't do it. So it was just contradicting himself. It's like, you would take the same thing in a rematch or not? Like, but he contradicted himself. But neither here or there. It's all good, Wilder sent him the same, the saying, hey, look, if you take that same thing in return in the rematch, I'll take it. I'll take the fight tomorrow. Anthony Joshua also said no. And then he made an interview saying, hey, man, if there's $100 million on the table, you know what? Give me $50 million up front. I'll take the fight tomorrow. Wilder does that. And Anthony Joshua doesn't take the fight the next day. He said on Instagram, let's get it, or something like that, but he didn't sign the contract. Then they asked for approval of funding. Now, keep in mind, Al Heyman is Wilder manager. Now, Al Heyman did way bigger fights than this. No disrespect. This is a big fight, but this ain't the biggest fight there is. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao was way bigger. He made that fight. He had the finances for that fight. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Way bigger fight. Matter of fact, Floyd Mayweather made $285 million. That's Floyd Mayweather's purse alone. So his purse is bigger than both of Wilder and Anthony Joshua purses. Al Heyman provided that. Showtime, CBS. That's the same team that's offering Anthony Joshua this offer, the $50 million guarantee, but he won't prove a funding. Like I said, the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao did 4.6 million pay-per-views. Just the pay-per-views. I ain't talking about gates. I ain't talking about none of that. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor did 6.5 million pay-per-view. So don't tell me about proof of funding when Al Heyman charging, or Showtime was charging $100 for the Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight, not $20 like they do in the UK. So at the end of the day, they still was like, okay, you know what? We're gonna deal with all the BS. We show you the funding. They show Anthony Joshua the funding, or Al Heyman. He showed Hearns the funding. Hearns came out saying, oh, they want the fight in the UK now, and Anthony Joshua wants to fight in the UK. But what don't make sense is that you saying you're willing to go to the US to fight Baby Miller in Brooklyn. You're willing, or I don't know if he's willing or not, but Povetkin wants to fight in Russia. So if you're willing to travel, your next fight probably most likely ain't gonna be in the UK. Why is it such a big deal for you to come to the US now? If you're gonna make way more money coming to the US, because there's more money in the US. Like Showtime said, money don't grow on trees. So what's stopping you? Is it Like Wilder said, is it the drug test? Is it you're afraid of getting knocked out? Is it the sponsorship? Is it your team? What's holding the fight back? Which is on Anthony Joshua's side. And that's why we're saying it's going to be the biggest duck in boxing history, according to the heavyweights, if Anthony Joshua says no to this fight, because he has no more excuses. You could run, but you can't hide. Like, there is no more excuses. Because with this one fight, you will go straight to the top. You'll be the face of boxing. You will hold all belts at heavyweight. We will have all the money in the world, all the respect in the world. It's one more step. You done climbed 99 steps. There's one more step to make it to the top. And you choose not to take that final step. That's what you've been working hard for your whole life. And I hear a lot of people say, hey, look, man, Wilder is in the prime of his career. However, Anthony Joshua is not in the prime of his career. Which is not true. Anthony Joshua is in the prime of his career. Wilder is in his prime of his career. Anthony Joshua is not like Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis. I mean, Gervonta Davis, I hear a lot of people say, oh, he's not in his man strength, because he's young. He's like 22. So he hasn't really fully grown to his man strength. Lomachenko's like 30, so of course he's in his man strength. But Anthony Joshua, he ain't 22. Anthony Joshua is like 26, 27. He is in his man strength. From now on, he's not going to get that much stronger. He's going to get wiser in the ring. He's going to have more experience the more he fights. But he definitely is not going to get way stronger, because he's 26, 27. When Muhammad Ali was at his best, 26, 27. When Floyd Mayweather was at his best, 26, 27. Leonard, all-time greats. That's the prime of your career. It ain't 34. We don't look at Floyd Mayweather when he was 34 and say, oh, that was his best. Definitely not. Floyd Mayweather prime time was when he was at 140, 135. 147. Early at 147 at most. But like I said, it's not like Anthony Joshua got to get his man strength. So no, both fighters is in their prime. Both fighters have certain advantages and disadvantages. But that's why the fight is so intriguing and such a 50-50 fight. Because Wilder makes mistakes, but guess what? His awkwardness do work for him. Because fighters be like, whoa, what the hell that came from? They don't anticipate what he's about to throw next, so they can't counter it like they want to. He showed that he could take a punch. So it make him dangerous, because if he lands one punch, he'd lay you out. And he got that killer instincts, which he will go for the kill. And he always calculated. Anthony Joshua is a great combination puncher. Has a big heart, just like Wilder. His chin, probably not as good as Wilder's. However, he showed that he could get back up and recover, and he knows what to do when he's hurt. And he's a big guy. Wilder's 1 inch taller, got several inches as far as reach, but Anthony Joshua is bigger in size. He could fight in the inside and in the outside. Wilder could fight in the inside and in the outside. You don't believe me? Go watch some of his fights when he fought in the inside. He knows what he's doing in the inside too. And like I said, Wilder already beat somebody who's the most skillful fighter at heavyweight, which was Ortiz. And he knocked him out. Anthony Joshua makes less mistakes than Wilder. So that's why it's just a 50-50 fight. Wilder's in his prime. Anthony Joshua is in his prime. So let's just make this fight happen. If Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight happen next, all respect will be given to Anthony Joshua. You know what? Whatever BS he took us through, or he took Wilder through, it's all good. We don't care as long as the fight happen next. But if this fight don't happen next, then all blame go to Anthony Joshua. Because I know what people going to try to do. Just like they try to do Floyd Mayweather when he fought Manny Pacquiao, like I said. Blame all the blame on Floyd Mayweather, when all Floyd Mayweather wanted is a fair split, and he don't want the man to be on some steroids or something. That's why he put the drug test to the table. And if you're clean, why not take the test? If you got nothing to hide, why not take the test? But they blame Floyd, even though Freddie Roach admitted it was his fighter fault. But they blamed Floyd, that Floyd didn't want the fight. Floyd Mayweather beats him a couple years later. Guess what they say? Oh, he lost. Whoa, y'all watching the fight with your eyes closed? Freddie Roach said it was Floyd that won the fight, not Manny Pacquiao. His own trainer said Floyd won the fight. So people still say, oh, Floyd Mayweather lost the fight. But like I said, haters gonna hate. And if you want to get smarter by the minute, subscribe below. If you want to get dumber by the second, don't, and listen to these casual ass fans. Because all we speak over here is the truth. At the end of the day, everything that I said was not an opinion. It was the truth, and it was a fact, and it took place. If you go back, you'll find the interview that I stated. It was there. You'll find this article, anything that proved what I said. And I will provide it. If you ask, if you don't come over here, just talking shit. If you got a question, if you think I made a mistake or I'm misinformed, well, please inform me, and I'll prove you wrong, because I got my proofs from people mouth, like from Anthony Joshua mouth, from Wilder mouth. I'm not sugarcoating shit. I'm just saying it from the GOAT's mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying and delivering the message. Now, like I said, drop the comments below. Do y'all think if this fight don't happen, will it be the biggest duck of all time when it comes to heavyweights, at least? And if not, which was a bigger duck other than the Manny Pacquiao fight with Floyd Mayweather, when he ducked Floyd Mayweather the first time over the drug test? Peace.